Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to Diana Emerson. Today we're listening to the social media murders. This is the new one. This is the murder of Alex Rodda.
The teenager's body was found here on Ashley Mill Lane in the village of Ashley on Friday morning at 8 o'clock. This quiet location is about a mile.
When they told me it was Alex, I was crushed. I was crushed.
He goes into a wooded area. Would Alex have gone there on his own? My feeling is he wouldn't. He's a 15-year-old boy.
So he's gone into looking into the forest, and he's got this spanner behind his back, and he's gone and hit my brother repeatedly over the head.
It was a large, I'd say about 10-15 inches long. It was quite a big it was quite a big tool. The force of one of the blows at least was enough to fracture his skull, and fragments of the skull had penetrated his brain.
And he's just left him there.
It was very, very brutal. He lay bleeding for God knows how long before he actually did pass away.
Someone had to go and identify him. My dad went in to do it. And him coming back and saying, yeah, it's Alex, but it looks nothing like him.
Social media made it 10 times easier for him to get to that 15-year-old.
And without social media, I suspect Alex will still be alive now.
It really hurt that he was really Googling about murdering my baby.
Hey guys, so that was another video. Yeah, so this is a daily life of Alex Rodda. Please like and subscribe. He was definitely a massive character in everybody's life. He was a proper social media boy. He loved his phone. No matter what you were doing, you had a camera in your face, Alex filming you. He videoed everything he did. He was a big person for Instagram. He always used to be on Snapchat filming himself.
So when I come home, they'd be, probably making some TikTok videos.
Mainly singing, dancing, on the phones, taking pictures.
And Alex would be in the back, and you'd just see him like singing with a spatula, like going like this, like singing to the songs, and I'd be dancing on the other side.
He had a very close circle of friends that he became his, what he would say, his besties.
You had Esme, you had Brogan,
Charlotte,
Georgia, Yasmin,
Molly.
it was just a nice bunch that we had there.
Not too many degrees above freezing as we head through the afternoon, staying quite frosty. Elsewhere, well, we've got thick low clouds that rain to come, soaking the moon.
So before he had gone out, he'd FaceTime me to say that he was going to meet this boy.
He said, well, George is going to be picking me up, Mum, about half 5 or something like that.
So he'd FaceTimed me to tell me that he was going to stay at Charlotte's house and to let me know that Matt was getting him and taking him out first.
I think he said that he was going for a meal with them.
And he was like, listen to this, Esme. Like, I was quite shocked by it. He said he wanted to take me to a special place in a field near a forest.
I said, Alex, no. Whatever you do not go.
What's special about a field, Alex?
And Alex was like, exactly, that's my point. Like, there's nothing special about a field. So we had a little laugh about that, joking around, and then it was, oh, Matt's here now. And that was around 5:45-ish. He was like, oh, Matt's outside now. I'm going to have to go.
And he said he was going, and I said, I'll see you later, Alex. He said, yeah, I'll see you later, Mum. And that was the last time I saw him. Well, I can remember it as clear as day. I remember he stood at the end of the bed, right in front of me, and he goes, guess what? Like, in his play, like, he was really playful about it, and he was like, ooh, like, guess what? And I was like, what? Go on then. And he's like, talking to someone in your year. And I was like, my year? And I was like, who? And he was like, begins with M and ends in Asen. And I was like, Matt Mason.
He'd just kind of said, I've been speaking to this boy and he's asked to meet me, kind of getting my opinion on him, whether I think he should meet him or not. But I asked him, he was like, no, you think he's ugly. I was excited for him because I thought, you know, this is part of his development. He'd never really had his first relationship. Alex had never really been with a boy properly. Obviously, he was quite young. He was 15.
He came and sat next to me on the bed and he showed me messages between them. I don't really know what it was, but they were flirty messages, enough to think that it wasn't friendly, if that makes sense. And I was a bit like gobsmacked. I've known Matt Mason for so long, and I've never had any indication that he likes boys in any way.
Matt and Alex probably would have never got in touch again. Matt had left school. Alex was still in school. They lived in different places. They would have probably never been in touch again if it wasn't for social media. He's got a wealthy family. He's a farmer, and he was part of the Young Farmers. It's just like a social group type of thing.
It was his first relationship, and no matter how that relationship was formed, I think Alex must have had some feelings towards him.
Even though Matt was who he said he was and he didn't catfish Alex, it was still, social media made it 10 times easier for him to get to that 15-year-old than it would have been if social media wasn't a part of it.
Within meeting him, it was quite quickly, I think in a couple of weeks, Matt Mason started texting Alex, sending him a picture through social media of his manhood.
I guess in a way it's exciting because people like sexting these days. It's like an exciting sort of thing, but I was kind of sort of a joke, and that's where you could tell where his age coming again. That was something that was funny to Alex. So again, that's where the fact he was 15 came in. He was so young.
I came out the restaurant around 9 o'clock and I started to ring Alex. As soon as I left the restaurant, I rang Alex to say I'm on my way. I couldn't get through to Alex. Alex's phone used to always go to answer machine before it would ring a couple of times. So I wasn't concerned at that moment. I knew that where he was going to be all right.
Nobody really had a bad feeling at this point. Everyone thought he was just going to show back up at home, but just really late, and he had been stupid and gone out somewhere by himself. But the thing with Alex is he didn't ever go out without a charger or charge in his phone, and he didn't never lied about where he's going, especially to his friends.
I came home and I kept calling him, and then I rang Esme and I said, is Alex with you? And she said, no, he's not here.
Lisa had messaged me and said Alex is not showing up at home when he's not showing up at Charlotte's where he's supposed to go to, and Georgia was giving him a lift.
I rang Georgia she was like, "Where's Alex?" Just like really calm. And I was like, "What do you mean, where's Alex?" She was like, "Is he not with you?" I knew there was something really bad. I was petrified. I was petrified because I couldn't find him.
Hello, big boy. Where's Daddy? Where's Daddy? This is Alex, and he's 2 tomorrow, and it's the 4th of March 2006. Bounce, Alex.
I knew from Alex being a little boy that he was feminine.
Never known a baby like him.
He used to like my jewellery, and he'd put my shoes on, and he'd come down, and he'd be walking round in my hats and playing around with it. When Alex became 13, I remember the day he came into the kitchen and he said, "Mum, I need to speak to you." I knew what he was going to tell me. I knew straight away. And he said, "Mum, I think I'm gay." I said, "Okay."
I was worried about the homophobia side of things, that it'd be targeted, and it was.
A lot of the boys used to just like shout stuff at him. Like they'd just say like homophobic slurs to him, and they made him feel really small.
Alex was friends with everyone. He was that much of a nice person. That's why I never understood why people would ever shout things at him, because he never did anything to hurt anyone. It was just purely the fact he was so openly gay.
Luckily, Alex had a large circle of girlfriends, and they used to defend him as well.
He's not gay.
On December the 12th, Mason picked up Alex in his car and brought him to these woods near Hale, just off the M56.
When there was a pub, it's you can eat in there obviously and go to the bar. But I worked as a waitress, whereas Alex worked in the kitchen doing pot washing. Molly was on the bar serving us, and Molly was asking about this new boy that he'd been seeing because she'd heard bits of it. She'd heard bits of me and Alex speaking about it in work, so she'd been like, "Oh, who's this boy you've been speaking to?"
He showed me his phone. He sort of explained that he'd been seeing this new guy that was a bit older than him, and didn't want anybody to sort of find out. The guy that he was seeing didn't want anybody to find out about their relationship.
He would send videos of himself masturbating. So they were very, very graphic things he used to send over on Snapchat, Matt. Just normal photo, just a normal average photo of his penis, and then he would also send masturbating videos as well.
Once the conversation develops on Facebook, Mason takes it to Snapchat. He's sending images of himself through a platform that will then delete that information. So almost gives him a sense of confidence that he's not going to be found out. Alex is obviously media savvy, so he saves copies.
We must have sent at least one every day over to Alex, which is kind of like drawing him in, grooming him in a sort of way.
It catapults relationships into a sexual kind of relationship very quickly, because they feel safe to engage in that through social media. They wouldn't do that probably as quickly face to face.
Matt should have knew in his head he's 15. He shouldn't be making a choice at 15 whether he wants to do something with a boy. He should get to at least the age 16, even older, to even be able to make that choice in his mind whether he wanted to touch a boy or let another boy touch him.
I had his friends, they came over. Gemma came over. Esme, Georgia.
Lisa asked me if I'd put a Facebook post out saying he's missing. So I did, and I posted some pictures and like contact me, my number, or Lisa, and put her number on it. Because of the Facebook got so many shares, I think it got like 200k shares or something. So everyone started then going to his Instagram, and then this is when people who knew of him, because he was so known from like all the way to Manchester to Bolton to Liverpool, like people knew him.
I rang the police on 3 or 4 occasions, and I said, look, I don't think you're taking this seriously enough. I know he's only been missing a few hours, but I know my son, if he hasn't got his phone with him, there's a problem. There's something not right.
I rang his dad and I said, something's happened. Something's really bad happened.
Go on my phone and check Facebook as you do. Scrolling down Facebook and I see missing person, and it had my brother on it. Call my dad. Dad, yeah, he's gone missing. Have you heard about the Russians? I said, what do you mean the Russians?
I was getting messages on Facebook with Russian profile names, saying that they had the gay boy in the back of the van and they were going to kill him.
I think there was 3 or 4 accounts, maybe, or something like that, that had said that they kidnapped him, and they said that he was missing, and they've got him in the back of the van.
We all agreed we'd all split up and go look for him. So me, Liam, and Esme went in Liam's car.
Me, George, and Liam get messages on Instagram saying we've got him in the back of a van, starving him, beating the gay out of him, he's not going to be gay after this. We believed it. We believed that they'd taken him, and they were telling us that they've got him and that's where he is.
We were like going around all the warehouses near Home Chapel.
I was obviously replying, and then they were saying more things to me, how thick your makeup is, and I'm going to scrape it off with a knife and stuff like that, like really weird stuff. But at this point, our hearts just sunk, thinking that he was really in the back of that van. And obviously he wasn't. We'd rang the police to let them know about all the prank calls, so they could track down the IP addresses and find out who was actually behind these accounts.
I wasted a fair part of that night on them thinking that they had him.
They went to Macclesfield College, I'm pretty sure, and I didn't even know they knew Alex.
I knew all those trolls were just evil people, and they didn't have Alex. So whilst everyone was very stressed by that, I was very much calming that, because I just knew that they did not have my son, and Matt Mason had my son. About a week before, I'd gone out in the afternoon to the shops, and I came back and the front door was locked. And I remember seeing these big brown working boots, and I felt very quite alarmed by that straight away. As I went upstairs, Alex appeared. Matt Mason stood on the top of the stairs, and Alex was at his bedroom door. Alex said he was just passing by, and I said, right, that's okay. Well, he can leave now, Alex. Yes, is he leaving? So he said, yes, he's going now, Mum. And I instantly said to Alex, stay away from that boy. There's something seriously not right with him, Alex. I was feeling all this fear.
Matt was in my year. I had quite a few lessons with him, but he wasn't someone who I was close with, but I could talk to him and he'd know me and I'd know him. He was an odd character. He used to get really angry, and I remember one time, I can't remember why he did it, but he got so angry on the table, he like clenched his fists and like went like that, and then went bright red, and he kept doing it, and the teacher was like, stop, Matt. And he was like getting really angry and like slamming his fists on the table.
You might have possibly met him once, and then it wasn't long after that he found out Matt had a girlfriend.
I was shocked, and he'd get really upset by that.
I kind of felt like he obviously wanted everyone else's opinion on it, on whether it was his place to tell the girl or not.
Alex showed me the message and saying to him, I don't want to talk to you because you've got a girlfriend. It's wrong, you should tell her. And Matt was like, no, I'm not going to tell her, or let me deal with it, don't get involved.
So I think he'd give it a week, and Alex was like, you've not told your girlfriend, that's it, I'm telling her. Alex had told his girlfriend now. But Matt wasn't happy about that. It's kind of like he was definitely 100% fully gay, but he wanted to keep this girlfriend to hide it from his family.
Matt Mason lied to him. Matt Mason lied he had a girlfriend for 2 years. Alex contacted his girlfriend. He did the right thing.
I messaged Matt Mason, and he was like, oh, I dropped him off in Holmes Chapel because he was going to Manchester with some friends. And I was like, what friends? Because who would Alex go to Manchester with at 8 o'clock in the evening? And I didn't think anything then because I trusted him because I knew him.
I rang Esme.
So I was like, oh no, George didn't pick him up. Matt was picking him up to go to Charlotte's house. Lisa didn't like that straight away.
And Esme told me that he'd gone out with Matt Mason for dinner. And I just really, really, really went into real panic.
Yeah, it's exciting. He's got this guy that's older than him, who's got money. He's got a car that takes him places. Also the sexual side to it as well.
But at the exact same time, Matt was trying to hide from his girlfriend that he was with a boy. He'd convinced his girlfriend that Alex was lying. And I guess finding out you're getting cheated on is hard enough to accept, so she didn't want to accept it as it was, but never mind it being with a boy. So it was kind of like, Alex didn't want it to be hid, Matt wanted it to be hid. So it was kind of like clashing there. That's where like the whole money thing came into it. Started off with, if you don't tell my girlfriend, I'll give you £50. Matt was like saying, oh, I'll give you more money. If you just don't tell my girlfriend, let me tell my girlfriend.
It's hush money. to keep him quiet and to get what he wants out, what only Matt wants, because he's using this big thing to control a boy.
He's a 15-year-old boy. If a man is giving a 15-year-old boy money, of course he's going to accept it. Of course he's going to enjoy that.
The money completely changes his relationship. One, it almost appears now that his sexual behaviour is being paid for.
That's part of the grooming process. Mason starts to give him money. He then says, Alex, you can't tell anybody. Alex then becomes part of that process. He's then complicit within, so he can't say anything. So Mason's then free to do what he wants.
He showed me his phone. I saw multiple different transactions for various amounts, sort of adding up to, there was some for like £200, some a little bit less, some a bit more. And it sort of added up to around sort of like £2,000, just over £2,000. And obviously he didn't realise the danger.
I remember turning to him and he was stood next to me, and I said to him, I was like, "You're playing with fire."
So when you start giving a child money and you start saying to that child, keep it a secret, that is grooming. And you can't tell your friends that I'm picking you up. Don't tell them. That is grooming.
I'd had a message of Esme saying, have you seen Alex? Have you seen Alex? And I was like, no. So I rang her and I was like, what's going on? And she said, Alex has been missing for the last few hours. And she was like, right, well, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I'm just going to try and find things online, see if there's anything I can see. I was checking train times to check when the trains were going to come in from Manchester, because there was so many different stories. Some people were saying he was in Manchester shopping. Some people were saying he was in Holmes Chapel, met up with a friend. There was different, so no one really had a clue. Nothing was really adding up. None of us believed that he'd gone Manchester, but if there's a chance that he had gone, we were all waiting at the train station waiting for him to get off the last train. This was the last train and he didn't get off it. So it's kind of when everyone went into full-on panic mode then. I checked his Snapchat story and he put a picture on his like private story of him in a car with 2 love hearts. And we're trying to figure out where it was, what we could see. It looked like they might have been going for like a drive-through. It looked like it was kind of around here. It didn't look like it was in the city, or it didn't look like there was not much around it. It looked like it was the countryside, which obviously there's lots of countryside around here. He wasn't with anybody that we knew. Like, we'd messaged all the girls, but at this point we were trying to get to Matt to find out whether he was still with Matt or not. And I was saying, right, maybe look around Holmes Chapel, maybe look around like fields. So they were looking around different fields, and they were looking around. They drove around a lot that night. Matt was the last person he saw. He picked him up from his house, and now he's just suddenly not answering his phone. So I eventually got Matt's number, and I was ringing, and he just wouldn't pick up the phone, and he'd eventually picked up. So I was like, hi, where's Alex? And at first he was like, what do you mean? Stop lying. I said, I know you've been with Alex tonight. He's told me that you were picking him up. Where have you dropped him off? Because nobody's heard from him for hours.
We called some of the girls from Matt Mason's number, and I rang Matt Mason. And he didn't answer, so I texted him. So then he rang me, and I asked him, where's my son? And he said he dropped my son off at Holmes Chapel at 6 o'clock.
And at one point, he actually offered to drive up to us. He said he's close by. He's just been at the pub with his friends. He can actually drive to us and help us look for Alex.
When he said that, that's when I just really screamed, said, I'm getting the police. I'm getting the police. You've hurt my son.
Lisa had told them about Mason. So they text Mason that night, could you help us about, we're looking for a friend of yours, Alex Rodda.
It was like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Alex still hadn't turned up at home. He hadn't turned up at my house or Charlotte's house. Not a single person had heard from him. His phone still wasn't on.
And I think then I knew he was hurt, because I just felt it, like, so I knew something was really wrong.
Anyway, everybody got tired. It was 2 o'clock and they had work and they couldn't look all night. And we went home and I couldn't rest. It was my son. I knew there was something really bad. I knew he was hurt somewhere and I couldn't get to him.
The teenager's body was found here on Ashley Mill Lane in the village of Ashley.
I had a gut feeling that was going to be Alex, just because of the location and the description of what they found. I made my way over to the family home where Lisa lives. She guessed as soon as I turned up that it was bad news.
A body had been found of a similar description, but they wasn't confirming it was Alex, and we had to wait.
Someone had to go and identify him. My dad went into it with his partner Maxine, and him coming back and saying, yeah, it's Alex, but it looks nothing like him. And he, for clear identification, he wanted to see Alex's feet. So he saw Alex's feet because he just looked nothing like him.
We were in the police station about to get interviewed, still thinking that we were trying to find Alex. We did not know that they'd found a body. They told our parents, though, which our parents weren't allowed to tell us. So they took us in for the interview then. That was no. That they found his body. No.
Cheshire Constabulary say an 18-year-old man has now been charged with murder. He's been named as Matthew Mason from Ollerton near Knutsford. He's been remanded in custody and is due to appear before Crewe Magistrates Court sometime tomorrow.
They'd found Mason's car driving around the town and chased him at one point.
He was driving towards Telford, or I think it was Telford, driving towards that way, and the police doing a TPAC stop. TPAC stop being police surround the car and force him to stop.
Mason was picked up on the A41 in Staffordshire. Officers told him to get out of the car and to put his hands up, which he didn't do. He just sat in the car and did nothing. And then again, after asking him, he again did nothing. So they went over and they smashed the window and they dragged him out of the car and arrested him.
They found the weapon in the boot. They found my brother's coat in the boot.
For me, the biggest thing that stuck out was from the start of the investigation, Mason was never honest, he was never truthful. I believe he was trying to play the system.
Once in the woods, Mason claimed the pair had argued that Alex had hit him first and that he was acting in self-defence.
Matt Mason was full of fear and shame, and that shame destroyed my son's life.
The trial was horrendous, certainly in the early days.
You could hear a pin drop in that court. It was very, very tense.
I attended every minute of the trial. I had a duty to attend as my brother, so I had to be there for every single second. I wanted to know what was going on. I wanted to know every single minutiae of those events.
He'd sort of said that Alex had attacked him. That was his defence, that Alex had attacked him, and he'd responded in self-defence.
When he took the stand for the first time, it sounds like he has learning difficulties.
He spoke like Forrest Gump. He spoke in a real like, like he wasn't all there.
The police went through all his social media to see if he actually spoke like that. It turns out he didn't. That wasn't his normal voice. He was putting on an act.
So he's gone and took him into the forest, and he's got this spanner behind his back, and we think that Alex was in a vulnerable position on his knees. And when that's happened, when Alex has gone down, Matt Mason has took the spanner out and he's gone and hit my brother repeatedly over the head.
All we know is that Mason had hit Alex at least 15 times to the head and body, and that during the attack, the force of one of the blows at least was enough to fracture his skull, and fragments of the skull had penetrated his brain.
Then he'd stood over him and had a cig. Obviously, you don't believe anything that comes out of Matt's mouth anymore, but he said when he first left that he thought he was definitely still breathing, so he was definitely lay there in pain.
He went to clean himself up outside. I think it was outside one of his friend's farms.
Then gone to the pub near my house up the road from me for an alibi, and sat with his friends and had a pint like everything was normal.
When he got to the pub, he took a picture of himself on Snapchat. We assumed at the time it was to form part of an alibi, to say that he hadn't been anywhere near Alex at the time. And then later that night, when he got home, he took a picture of himself again, a selfie of him sat in bed. He was shirtless, and he sent it to his girlfriend saying goodnight.
And then he goes back to the scene to check to see if my brother is, has my brother moved? Is my brother still there? Has he killed my brother?
He'd basically gone back to make sure his job was done.
Now, my brother's big. He's same size as me, 6'2". He's also a very large boy as well, so he's heavy. And he totally underestimated that. So he's gone and given up and just left him there because he can't put him in the car.
When we were in the court, it all came out that Mason on December the 6th had been Googling how to poison somebody, how to push somebody down the stairs. He was also Googling sites on missing children in Cheshire that were never found. It was horrible to even see that somebody that was really, really thinking about your son in this way.
I don't know if my boy was scared going into the woods. I don't know if he knew nothing about it. I hope he knew nothing. but I'll never know.
I really wanted him to look me in the eye when I was giving my evidence, because I just wanted to look him in the eye. I wanted him to sort of see like what he had done, not only to Alex but to everybody in the sort of surrounding situation. And his eyes were just black. There was just like nothing there.
So the jury were out for, I think it was a couple of days they were deliberating for. The judge brought them in and he said, have you reached a verdict? And then that's when they said it was a guilty verdict. So it was really dramatic.
When the judgment came, all that anxiety that I've been feeling throughout the year and also during the trial, it just went. In terms of relief, it was the biggest relief I've ever experienced in my life.
So Mason was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 28 years. So he must serve 28 years before he's considered for parole by the parole board. It was quite tense during sentencing. When he was sentenced, Mason burst into tears. The family burst into tears, and Alex's family burst into tears as well.
It was down to Alex's friends that they had such an abundance of information. Mason had got rid of Alex's phone, but there's loads of information between Alex and his friends that his friends came forward and helped the police investigation and were very much pivotal in helping the police understand the lead up to Alex's murder.
I think at the end of the day it shows the power of friendship between Alex and the girls.
The judge saying in his summing up after Mr. Mason had been found guilty that Mr. Mason had groomed Alex over a period of time, over the phone. Mr. Mason was 18 at the time and Alex was only 15. He was only a schoolboy.
Most children now, they have some form of social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's a big one for grooming now. Because it's so easy to share.
Social media makes it so much easier for people to be groomed.
Because they can hide behind a keyboard, they can hide behind the screen.
Social media has to be regulated and has to have more governance, and hopefully that will prevent this type of thing happening again.
Don't go in there naively. Don't go in there thinking it's all roses, especially at that age, because you don't realise the demons that some people have in their heads.
Alex's lives were cruelly ripped away from him all of the hands of some other boy who could not be free and be himself. My son was punished for it.
At one point, Mason said, Alex tried to kiss me, and I said, no kissing. That made my blood boil. And that, to me, is unforgivable, because those are one of the things that my boy's missed out on. He's missed out on a loving relationship. He'll never have that.
Hi, Dad. I'm BJ.
Life goes on. I think the best thing to do in his honour is just do the best you can in your own life.
He was just a beautiful, lovely boy. A man couldn't wish for a better son.
It was important for Alex to be free and comfortable with who he truly was. And he was. He was. He was. And it was wonderful for him to be free in himself, in that short time that he lived, he was really free. Yeah.